What's it really like at this place from the viral videos? Only in Japan, the streets are so clean that even the drains have koi carp in them. While that may not be entirely true, Shimabara is beautiful. For me, this was the highlight of the trip. From Kumamoto, we took a ferry across, went up a volcano with hot springs and steam vents, then took a bus down to Shimabara and the City of Swimming Carp. You can see the first half in a separate video, and now we're in Shimabara. We just got the bus down from Unzen to Shimabara city. The bus route goes through the port where we got on earlier, and then it carries on into Shimabara, the town itself. So we just kept an eye on Google Maps and pressed the button when it looked like we were near the City of Swimming Carp. It was 810 yen each. We started seeing a few streams down the side of the street already. We've not seen any fish yet. There's our first koi carp. He's really big. This place with the water wheel and the pond is the Tourist Information Centre. It's a very nice one.
See them all down here?
Oh yeah, this must be quite deep then. Oh, they're all hiding. It's a nice little garden. There are over 60 natural water springs in Shimabara, this is one of them, as well as hot springs for onsen. There's something so relaxing about the sound of water. It's mesmerising to watch. We're at the Tourist Information Centre in Shimabara and there's a stamp. It's a big one. What's this? It's got different colours.
I think you're supposed to go to the different places.
And you collect a different colour each place.
That's why if you have a proper postcard, so it will be a little bit difficult to line up.
Yeah, so mine looks a bit strange.
Had you managed, like maybe lined it up with the edge of the page, it might have been easier. But you might be able to do it if we find more places.
Here at the Tourist Information Centre there's a glass floor section, so you can see the water and the fish. I think the fish are all hiding at the moment, and you can sit here and watch the garden. It's a nice view. The tourist centre has all the essential information. There seems to be a map of sweets around Shimabara, and there's that mascot we saw earlier, Shimabaran. The local snack is kanzarashi, which are mochi in syrup. They've got it here for 400 yen. We'll be trying some later in the video. Here's the display for Girls' Day Hina Matsuri, which is at the start of March. This is a nice spot just opposite the Tourist Information Centre. There's some koi carp here. The koi carp were added in 1978 to make a feature of the waterways and create the City of Swimming Carp. There's a grid down there to stop the fish going down this alleyway. The water's so clear. These carp with a red spot on their forehead are special because it looks like the flag of Japan. Yeah, you should take the bag out. We're saving the fish from a bag. Litter is quite unusual in Japan. This was at the very start of March, so it's still the off season, but it made it even more relaxing that there was hardly anyone else around. This is what a trip to Japan can be like if you go beyond the more popular spots, or if you don't mind going when the weather's cooler. If you had my calendar last year, you might recognise this place. I used some artistic license and added the castle in, but it was exciting to be there in real life. We've just come along the street from the Tourist Information Office and we've come across this house, Yuusui-Teien Shimeiso, which has a beautiful koi carp water garden. So we're going to go in. The Tourist Information Centre is just up there, and this is one of the famous streets with the gutters with the water in. You have to get a ticket from the vending machine at the entrance. It's 400 yen for adults and half price for children. Here's the ticket vending machine. It's cash only.
Do you have cash?
Okay. Oh, it doesn't like my money. It didn't accept my 1,000 yen note, so we scraped together the coins. Here's our tickets. This is such a lovely garden. I wish our whole back garden was pond like this. We have a small pond, but this is so much nicer. So when we came in, we took our shoes off and she welcomed us in to sit on this deck here by the water garden and gave us each a green tea. A lot of the fish are sleeping down there. It's so nice how this side of the building just opens up, and then you've got the paper screens, the tatami mats. And they've got displays for Girls' Day as well. In this garden, 3,000 tonnes of fresh spring water flow into the pond every day. There was no one else there, apart from some friendly old ladies who were just leaving as we arrived, who said they liked my hair. So after that, the staff left us to it to enjoy the garden for as long as we wanted. Sitting on tatami mats with green tea, watching koi carp is a lot more traditional than what I'd normally do in Japan, but it was so lovely here. When we left Shimabara, I had such a feeling of peace. I just felt energized somehow, or maybe that was the amount of green tea and matcha I ended up drinking. Here's the garden out the other side. You can see some koi carp out there too. I found another one of the stamps. I don't know if I'll be able to line it up properly because I'm not using the proper paper. Should we give it a try? It's going to go wrong for sure.
That looks like it's at an angle. Oh, it's upside. Oh no, that's not too bad.
It's not bad. I think it's going to look a bit pop art.
I think the problem is this is number 3.
Yeah.
And the other one you did was number 4.
Yeah.
So I think you're supposed to do that one, then this one. But
I need the yellow, green and the other black one.
I think it's going to be backwards.
I only collected 2 of them in the end, but if you get the card and do it properly, here's what it looks like. It's so peaceful, and at the moment there's hardly anyone here. We've got the place to ourselves. I wish we could feed them. There's one under the bridge. They're all underneath the tunnels. Here's a little map of the town of Swimming Carp. It is all mainly on just one street. So the Tourist Information Centre is at one end, and that's the little pond we saw opposite. Yuusui-Teien Shimeiso is the house we were just in. That was lovely. And here we are at the end. I'm not sure if there are as many carp at the moment as there are in warmer times.
They're certainly not as active.
No.
As it would be, which is fair enough. It's quite cold to the fish.
We have just goldfish at home in the pond, and during the winter they're definitely not as active. They just drift around slowly, and during the summer you see them swimming around a lot more. The whole town isn't like this. The City of Swimming Carp's about 100 metres long, so it isn't huge, but there's also an area with historic samurai houses nearer the castle, and there are wells, drinking fountains and footbaths dotted around the town. Even though it's not huge, I'd say it's definitely still worth visiting. Look how lovely it is, and there's enough to do for a relaxing afternoon or a day if you went to the castle as well. Right now it's the very start of March and it is a bit cold, but we're thinking that when it's warmer, the water from here would flow across there and fill up this system, and there's some channels in the ground where it looks like the water would flow along here and then out there and into that channel here, which would be really nice. Just imagine. All of this looks like footbaths, which are dry at the moment, but it looks like this would normally be filled with the hot spring water. It looks like a lovely spot, and this is just at the side of a park. I think we've come at the wrong time of year. This looks like it would be a fountain as well if the water comes out of there, runs into the middle, and then along all these channels.
Back down.
Oh, and all the way to the front.
Yeah, so it looks like it all goes down there somewhere.
Very elaborate fountains. You're going to go down the slide, Phil? It's a slide made of concrete. There's a little cafe here. They've got kanzarashi, which is the local speciality. I'm going to give it a try. They've got this special ice cream float. Here's the menu, it's really cute. Here's kanzarashi, the local speciality, which is mochi in syrup. Zenzai is mochi in red bean soup. That's warm usually. We've ordered this, the koizarashi. Here's my kanzarashi. It's mochi in green tea. And you add this lemon syrup and it changes the colour. I've got the fish-shaped one in there because it's the koizarashi. I've also got a matcha green tea, which she did for me with the traditional whisk there, and Phil's got the chocolate cake.
Are you going to share it all?
Looks good. We can both try a bit of each other's.
Excellent. Oh wow.
Ah. Should I put the lemon in as well?
Yeah.
Lots of lemon flavour. There's the mochi. I get the fish one. That's the koi. They gave me these sweets with the matcha. Often you do get the sweets to go with it. Something sweet and then something slightly bitter. I think they might be banana chips. It says ume on the pack with plum flavouring on. Nice. And this green tea isn't bitter like they sometimes are. That's the sign of quality. The kanzarashi was a really nice citrus flavour and the mochi was so soft. We hadn't done everything in Shimabara, but we have a ferry to catch back to Kumamoto. Public transport's less frequent away from the big city. It was doable. The only downside was we had to keep an eye on the time to make the most of the day and make sure we didn't miss a bus or a train or the ferry. You can just see Shimabara Castle in the distance there. Here's Shimabara Station. It's a pretty nice building. Looks very traditional. Even the bike car park looks fancy. We had to get train tickets at the machine with cash. Got these small paper tickets. They don't take IC card here. Can you believe this is on the platform at a station? There weren't many displays or screens at the station, but the staff were really helpful. They helped us buy tickets and showed us which platform to go to. We're gonna overshoot. The platform you want is the side that the station's on. Such a cute one-carriage train in yellow.
This will be on the right side.
Even though we're out of the range of Suica cards, the announcements are still in English as well as Japanese, and there's English on the ticket machine. Over there it's a cafe train that runs up and down the coast here from Shimatetsu Railways. And this is Shimabara Station, which is the closest one to the port. And now we're walking back to the port, which should be a 5-minute walk this way. We're running back to the port. Our ferry's leaving soon, which is the last Ocean Arrow ferry of the day at 5:30 p.m. Here's the port up ahead where we started the day. Almost. There's our ship, the Ocean Arrow. And that's where we're going, I guess. What's there? Kumamoto Port. This is the Kyushu ferry, which is a slower service. It takes about an hour to get across on the same journey. That is a bit cheaper though. And if we'd missed the last ferry at 5:30, this one leaves at 5:50, and that really is the last chance. The 5:30 ferry is the last ferry of the day today, but at the weekends from April to December there's an additional ferry which leaves Kumamoto at 6:30 and leaves Shimabara at 7:20. The Ocean Arrow is also a car ferry, so the cars are coming off now. Goodbye to Mount Unzen. I enjoyed that day trip. It kind of feels like we spent as much time travelling as we did doing things, but I think it was worth it because I enjoyed the things we saw.
I'm a little bit disappointed about the lack of carp. Like, there were plenty of them, but had we come in summer when they had, I think, all the fountains have been running, it would have been much nicer, but then it would have also been a lot busier.
Yeah.
And the time we spent in the cafe and in
the house.
Yeah, in the house, the gardens there, I think that would not have been relaxed.
No.
With loads of people and noise. So in some ways it was really good to go at this time of year, some ways not so good.
We did literally have the place to ourselves in the cafe and the house, and there was hardly anyone on the street, so we could see everything really well.
Really good to come here. It is out of the way for sure.
It is, but it is doable as a day trip. I think it probably would be good to stay overnight if you wanted to see more things, because we didn't see everything in either place, but we saw the main things we wanted to see.
Yeah, it really felt like we were on a schedule. So we got off the boat, we had to get on this bus, we had to see this, we had to be back at this time. And if you missed any of those things, then you're going to really limit what you can do. It wasn't stressful because it was so relaxed. I would have been stressed if it was busier. That's not really how I like to do things. I like to just turn up and see what's what.
See what you feel like doing when, but because the buses aren't very frequent and we didn't want to get stranded either up the volcano or here without being able to get the last ferry back in the day, we kept an eye on the time. There are hot springs here, so you can stay overnight in a ryokan, a traditional Japanese hotel, in either Unzen onsen or Shimabara and enjoy a hot spring bath, or you could just go to Shimabara for the whole day. There's also a castle, a samurai district, and there's a disaster museum about when Mount Unzen erupted. You can see houses half buried in the lava flow and debris from an eruption in the 1930s 1990s. That's a 20-minute bus ride from Shimabara. On the other side of the peninsula, there's the longest footbath in Japan, Hot Foot 105, which is 105 metres long. It takes a while to get there on public transport, so I'm not sure if it's worth it, especially when there are footbaths in Shimabara. Really, I just wanted to mention it because I like the name. Hot Foot 105. This is Nagasaki prefecture, and you can get there from Nagasaki city, but it's actually closer to Kumamoto, and with the ferry that route seems easier. So to get here from Kumamoto, we took a bus from Kumamoto station to Kumamoto port, then the Ocean Arrow ferry across to Shimabara. We bought the tickets on the day at the port. Then we took a bus from the port up to Unzen onsen, looked round the hills and got the bus back down past the port to Shimabara city. And there's also a train that runs between the port and the town. You can see more of that journey in my other video, and I have a whole playlist of things to do in Kyushu. If you have any questions, as always, ask in the comments. This isn't a very well-known day trip, so I'm always happy to help out if I can. And I'll be back next week with more Japan videos on Thursday.